ironically, it was the absence of love that really seemed to propel me on this path, including a deep longing and asking, clearly, I don't know the way, so show me the way.
What role did the feminine aspect play in some or most of your transformative moments in the awakening process?
The feminine aspect to me is the love part of awakening. And I'm sure everybody has different interpretations, and for some people that's not the way it is. And so in non-duality, that would be more the side of being, more the side of everything, rather than the sort of more emptiness, the nothing. And what role did it play? I found the love side easier. There's some people, I think, have more of an attraction to the emptiness, and some people have more of an attraction to the love, and some it's mixed. And for me, the love side was a lot easier. And I think that's even what drew me to non-duality or to Buddhism, was the idea of love and compassion. And also when I would listen to teachers speak, it was like I would feel that love like expand in my heart. And that was what drew me often to that, or meditation, was the love side. Yeah, I think that profoundly affected my whole spiritual path, like that focus on love. Like if you're more focused on emptiness, it's maybe slightly different, but mine was certainly driven by love all the time. That was all I ever wanted, was love.
I think for me it was, if that can be called the feminine aspect, I don't know. I think for me it was the being drawn to the love, the feeling, the aliveness, the unity. So I'm not sure how that relates to feminine aspects. I don't know.
I think for me, it seemed to be, if you could say, almost the absence of love that really drove my seeking, because even as a child, it seemed difficult to comprehend why fear seemed to be the predominant emotion, not only around me in the world and even in school as a child, sometimes even within my own family. But it seemed that love, seemed to be absent. And yes, of course, there was a desire for love. And yet, ironically, it was the absence of love that really seemed to propel me on this path, including a deep longing and asking, clearly, I don't know the way, so show me the way. I cannot know the way to find peace and equanimity, so show me what that way would be. And interestingly enough, I think it was Mohandas Gandhi who said that a coward is incapable of exhibiting love, that is the prerogative of the brave. And what I came to learn was that if in fact about 75% of the world's population is in the beginning part of their development from the perspective of their soul's development, then what we're talking about is the majority, and the vast majority of the world's population is not in touch with love, but they're in touch with fear. Another way of saying that would be cowardice, but the way that cowardice shows up is fear, and how that shows up is through all of the behaviors and characteristics that would seem to be the antithesis of love. So then how do we all navigate that? How do we navigate that so-called intimacy abuse in the context of our relationships, our personal relationships, our families, our homes, but also that speaks to the lack of love with respect to our communities and even our greater nation states. So we're all coming to the experience within a population context of fear and some degree of so-called intimacy abuse because love is absent, because fear is more present. So this is really such an important topic, because how can we open our hearts and expand and explode open our highest idea of ourselves and of everyone else within a context where there doesn't appear to be love? So that's kind of how I came to it myself.
I think for me, it's kind of hard to be specific, but just the sense, because part of me identifies with having been on a path, but by and large, I wasn't seeking this. It just kind of came into my life, and so there's a very big intuitive component for me that feels very feminine, of maybe that being, if anything, of the feminine aspect leading just every step of the way, like life revealing what the intuition is pointing to, and feeling invigorated by, and stripping away, and it's for here it's almost like the clearing of everything in the way of life, mentally and through identification and through separation. Like once that's cleared and settled, then it's just undeniable love. And I would say for myself on a personal level, like becoming a mother was a very big part of death here of identity and what I was going through at the time, and really radically reorienting and realizing what love is, when it's not attachment, when it's not conditional, when it's the fabric of everything. And so, yeah, here for me is a very interwoven experience with intuition and love.
The initial awakening for me, I don't really see it, from the view of, the feminine, but I will say post-awakening, let's say that identification with the role of the mother, right? And in that role, dealing with a difficult situation of a child that was struggling with, a life-threatening drug addiction, the desperation of that in the role of the mother, so desperate to try to resolve that, it really helped to blow out a lot of the shadow, the identification, the beliefs about being the mother with the child that needed help. A lot of identity got resolved in that appearance of the role of the mother in just an astoundingly beautiful way.